Hey guys, hey, I wanted to talk to you today about single moms and dating single moms, right? And the risks of dating single moms. And I just a PSA here, right, is that I have nothing against single moms. I've had some pretty good experiences, but I've had some pretty bad experiences. So, I'll kind of go over that and talk to you about the pitfalls about dating single moms. There's there's my son. So dating single moms, I have nothing against it. They're great. The people that I've dated have just all been phenomenal in a way, in one way or another. Okay. I'm not going to say that as a blanket statement necessarily because they all have different characteristics. They're all different in one way or another. But what I found, and the reason why I entertained dating single moms was because they were really more grown up and more responsible than dating, women that didn't have kids. So, and that's what I found, right? But then when you're on dates, they talk about their kids all the time. They have no other type of conversation. I mean, it's crazy, man. Yeah, I mean, I remember I dated one woman where I'd say, "Hey, how are you doing today?" "Well, my kids are doing this and my kids are doing that and blah, blah, blah." I said, "I didn't ask that." I said, "How are you doing?" They couldn't, what I found is dating six of them, right, is that they could not detach from their mom life. So they didn't, there was one of them that I dated, and that was my ex-fiance that I told you about. She could detach from being a mom. So when she was with me, she was with me. And then, when she had to be a mom, she would be a mom. But she had that nice balance about her. You know what I mean? And that's why I was going to marry her, because she was the one and only one that had really found that balance. And, I think, to be honest with you, I think ethnicity plays a big role in that, Excuse me. Because what I found is that Mexican women, the majority of them I've dated were Mexican, right? They are kind of helicopter parents. You know what I mean? That they hover over their kids and they baby them, right? To some extent. And I know you probably get mad at me for this, but this is what I've seen. I have a lot of experience at this, guys. Okay, so this is what I've seen. They baby them, they pay way too much attention to them, and they have no room to date a man in their life. You're gonna have to draw a line. If you want to be a single mom, then be a mom. But if you want to date, then you got to find that boundary. You know what I mean? You got to figure it out. And what I've noticed with single moms is that even when the kids are with the dad, right? The moms are thinking about the dad and they're feeling guilty because they left the dad. So there's always that risk that they're going to go back to that situation, whether it's good or bad, whatever. You know what I mean? They have a history with that individual. And if I had a nickel for every time one of them has gone back, I mean, dude, I'd probably have 5 out of 6 nickels. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just kind of the way it goes, Actually, 2 of them didn't. So I'd have 4 out of 6 nickels. So it is what it is. So, you're never going to be first on their list. You're going to be, 5th, 6th behind the dog, behind the kids, behind the homework, behind all this other shit, right? Behind the ex. I mean, all that shit, some of them have a warped sense of self. You know what I mean? Some of them think they're all that in a bag of chips. Some of them have a really low self-esteem because they never got that from their ex, and they never acquired that for themselves. You know, they never went off by themselves and tried to figure their life out now that they're single and have kids. They never tried to figure that out, you know. So their self-esteem's pretty low. But some of them have a self-esteem through the roof, and they think they're fucking hotter than what they are. And, you know, quite frankly, man, you know, a lot of them don't stay in shape, man. They just don't, right? They have kids, they spurt out kids, and they let themselves go, man. It's a trip. You know, the women that I've dated have been in pretty good shape for the most part. You know, I mean, they've taken really good care of themselves, you know, and I'm picky that way because, you know, I mean, and you kind of have to be. I mean, everybody's different, right? But, you know, I've worked really hard on my body. I've always tried to stay in good shape. You know, I'm almost 49 years old, and I don't think I look it. You know what I mean? So I've always really tried to take care of myself. So I expect that out of my partner, you know? And the majority of the women that I've come across that do have kids, you know, maybe I haven't dated them or whatever, but they just kind of let themselves go, man. You should see the women that I went to high school with. Holy fucking shit, man. Wow, dude. They don't even look like I wouldn't even know who they were if I didn't, you know, if they didn't tell me, you know what I mean? Or didn't have their name on LinkedIn or Facebook or some shit, you know? It's just crazy, man. The dudes too, man. I don't understand it, man. You know, this is what God gave you. This is all that God gave you. Why the fuck aren't you going to take care of it? It doesn't make sense to me, you know? You know, the people buy a car and they take better care of their car than they do their fucking body, man. I don't understand it. You know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So it is what it is, you know. So some women have a really warped sense of self. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I found. A lot of these women have baggage. I mean, they don't clean up their shit. You know, when they get out of a relationship, they don't, you know, draw the line and make sure, you know, I've gotten chased down. I've gotten threatened by exes. I mean, all this shit. And it's all because they don't fucking look in the mirror and say, you know what? I fucked up. I'm the reason why she went off with, you know, with Rich. You know, I need to fix that, you know? No, they blame me. And I'm just the innocent fucking bystander. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm taking better care of the women than they were. So, you know, they're going to be pissed off. You know, it is what it is. But, you know, I had exes chase me down fucking in cars. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous, man. And I had to get out of there. I don't have time for that kind of drama. So clean up your shit before you come looking in my direction. Well, bottom line is I'm not going to date anybody with kids anymore. I learned my lesson. I learned it the fucking hard way. So it is what it is, you know. And I'm not going to say I don't have baggage. I have fucking baggage, right? But it's like I said, man, it's like a prop plane. Some of these women, man, they got a fucking they got a cargo jet full of fucking baggage. So, you know, you just got to be real careful about that, you know. And you know, a lot of the women that I've found too is that they don't take care of themselves. Like how do I say this? They need to figure themselves out. They need to separate when they get out of a relationship and, you know, they become single with a child. They need to figure that shit out first before they even think about dating. You know what I mean? Because, you know, especially dating a man that doesn't have kids, you know, it's so difficult. You know what I mean? And honestly, those of you guys who don't have kids, I wouldn't suggest it. Just don't do it. I mean, spin them as a plate. Don't meet their kids. You know what I mean? Have them come over and spend time with them, and have them, have them have their life like you're a vacation for them, right? So they come over to your house, you have a good time, you do your thing, and then they go off to their life, with their kids, and deal with that type of their life. You know what I mean? That side of their life. But I wouldn't get involved in that life. I just wouldn't. I've made that transition, and it's not easy. It's never easy, and it's quite frankly, it's almost impossible, and it's something that I didn't want. So that's, I never grew up and I said, you know what? I want to date a woman that has kids and baggage and all this shit, and that sounds good to me. No, I never said that fucking once growing up, right? I always wanted to meet somebody, fall in love, get married, have my own kids with her, and, we'd have a happy life ever after. Well, that fucking sure as hell didn't pan out. So it is what it is. But a lot of the reason why I dated women with children, right, single moms, is because I bought into that blue pill narrative. I had a lot of people telling me, well, you know what, maybe that's your life, Rich. Maybe you're supposed to take care of someone else's children, and quite frankly, a lot of these kids, they didn't have dads. I mean, they had dads, their dads were around, but they weren't acting like dads. You know what I mean? And, I came in, was a strong male figure to them, and, it was something they were missing, so that's the thing, man. I'm not going to be somebody else's dad. I'm just not. We don't share the same blood. You're not going to listen to me. And that happened with my ex-fiance. She basically told, the kid basically told me, you're not my dad. I'm not going to listen to you, So, and I did everything for this kid, man. I'm telling you right now, see, this is another thing, right? You can do everything there is to do. So I'll tell you my story, okay? I woke up for a year straight when they lived with me, right? And I would make her breakfast. I would make the kid breakfast. I would make my ex breakfast. And what did I get out of the whole deal? I got her shitting on me, man. She got mad at me because of something my ex did. My ex would escalate arguments because she was drunk. And I was the one that was trying to de-escalate the situation because I don't like drama in my life, right? So I was trying to de-escalate the situation. I was like, wait a minute, let's go sit down and talk about this rationally and work out and try to meet in the middle. You know what I mean? And she would just escalate situation. Then she would argue in front of her daughter, and I'm like, you know what? Let's not do this, And then there was one time where she just pushed my fucking buttons, man, and we just started arguing, and I ended up breaking out, leaving, because I would just leave the situation, and she had detachment issues and shit because of her dad, and it was just a whole shit show. So after that, her daughter blamed me for everything, man. She was just totally against me 100%, and after all that good shit that I did for her and all the good that I was showing her, I still got shit on. You know what I mean? Because she believed her mom over me. And that's the thing that you have to deal with women with kids, right? Is they're always going to take their side. They're never going to take your side because you're not their fucking blood. So those are things that you got to deal with, guys. You got to deal with exes. You got to deal with the kids not accepting you. You got to deal with, other baggage that they're dealing with, ex relationships, divorces, all that shit that you got to deal with. You're never going to be first in their life. You're just never going to be, man. Get it through your fucking head. You're just not. Every time that I thought I was going to be first, I was never first, man. You know, I mean, I got up probably to second place with my ex-fiance, but that's as close as I got, you know? And still, I was never anywhere near in the first range with the daughter, you know, even though I was more of a dad to her than her dad was. I mean, the guy was just a half-ass motherfucker, you know, kind of a fly-by-night type dad, you know. He's there when he's there, but when the shit got hard, he was like, nah, that's your daughter. You know what I mean? Kind of giving it up. I was just like, what a dick, dude. You know what I mean? And most of the dads were deadbeat dads. As soon as they got out of the relationship or got divorced, they were off doing their own thing. A couple of them had their own fucking families after that, you know? So that's the kind of shit you're dealing with. You know, there's too much risk for no reward. You know, the ROI is almost nothing. And you just, it's not worth it, guys. It's not worth it. You know, you want to just go get some pussy. Okay, go spin them as a plate. And I told you, invite them over and, you know, have your fun with them and enjoy them, you know, while you have them. And that's cool because there's a lot of great ones out there. Trust me, I've dated them. And, but to be honest with you, man, it's probably not something that you want, especially if you're a single. You know, if you have kids, you know, as a dad and are a dad, right, a single dad, and you know what to expect, maybe that's for you. I don't know. But being a single man with no kids, it's not what I wanted. I don't want that shit for nothing. So, and being part of that, being, you know, having that experience, man, I know definitely now that I don't want that. And I'm not going to listen to all these blue-pilled motherfuckers chipping in my ear telling me, well, maybe that's your life. Maybe that, you know. And I'll talk about this in my friendship piece, but there's a lot of pressure on the friend side that I wasn't being grown up, that I wasn't doing what I needed to do, and that I was just, you know, would go out with women and toss them to the side. And that was absolutely not the fucking case. I love women. I loved what they stood for. You know, I loved the characteristics about them. It just, ultimately, it was not what I wanted. That was not the situation that I wanted. So I just want to make sure, guys, that you guys understand that. You know, if you guys want to reach out to me and have a one-on-one or email me or anything like that and have more discussions about dating single moms, man, I'm more than happy to help out. You know, I'd love to talk to you, man, and pound some sense in your head, because I'm telling you right now, I've done it all, man. I got the fucking t-shirt, and I don't want you guys to go through this shit. All right? So hit me up, guys. Hit the subscribe and like. Don't forget that. You know, helps out the algorithm, helps me go up so you guys see more of my content. And reach out, man. Email me, set up one-on-ones, whatever the case may be, and I'm more than happy to help. Okay? All right, guys. Stay up. Later.